would like to invite Mr. Adebayo Akande, SAICT to Oyo State Governor, to give the welcome address.
Yes. Good afternoon. I want to specially welcome us all to this grand finale of our program here. It is, of course, the 10th edition of the National Council's event on ICT. So as we gradually round off today, it is important we acknowledge notable dignitaries currently in our midst in this gathering. With respect and humility, I want to inform us that in this gathering this afternoon, we have Oyo State's Governor, His Excellency, a visionary, ably represented here in our midst. Of course, our governor is Governor Seyi Makinde. A round of applause for him. Ably represented here in this event this afternoon by Your Honor, the Secretary to the State Government, Mrs. Olubamiwu Adeosun. Please, another round of applause. And seated closely is our own Honorable Minister for
Honorable Minister for Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Ibrahim Fantami. A round of applause, please. Thank you very much.
We equally have in this gathering heads of parastatals and agencies under the National Council on Communication and Digital Economy. We'll be doing justice to that briefly with a quick introduction.
Thank you very much. I'd like to introduce first the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. William Allo. Would like to also recognize Professor Umar Dambata, Executive Vice Chairman, NCC. Would like to recognize Malam Kashifu Inuwa Abdullahi, Director General, CEO, NITDA. You're welcome, sir. A round of applause, please. Here present with us is Professor Abubakar Mohamed Bello, Managing Director, GBB, Galaxy Backbone. We're enjoying free Wi-Fi courtesy of Galaxy Backbone. Thank you very much, sir. Would like to recognize Engineer Aliu Aziz Abubakar, Director General, CEO, NIMC. You're welcome, sir. Right Honorable Adepoju A. Sunday, Postmaster General, NIPOST, is also with us here today. Welcome, sir. We'd like to recognize Dr. Vincent Olatunji, National Commissioner, CEO, NDPB. We'd also like to recognize Mr. Ayuba Shuaibu, Secretary, USPF, if he's here. We'll be doing more recognitions as we progress in the program. Thank you.
Yes, quickly, on our side of the divide here in Oyo State, I would also humbly want to recognize Chief Adebayo Akonde, is the CEO of Splash FM and Lagelu FM, is ably well seated here in this event. Please, a round of applause for the CEO, Splash FM and Lagelu FM. We equally have directors from the State Ministry of ICT and, of course, other top government officials from this side of the divide here in this gathering this afternoon. We equally have Engineer R.A. Adabanija, please. Please, a round of applause for her. Then at this point, because of time constraints, we would do like to proceed quickly with our program. So I would want to, with humility and respect, invite our host. Of course, we have the chief host, that is the governor of Oyo State. But our host also is the special advisor to the governor on ICT for a brief welcome remark. Please, a round of applause as he comes. That is Mr. Adebayo Akonde Jr.
Good afternoon. The Honorable Minister for Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isali Pantami, His Excellency, Engineer Sheyi Makinde, ably represented by our honor, the SSG, Mrs. Olubango Adeosu. For the sake of time, please allow me to stand on all of our existing protocols. I am pleased to welcome you all to the 10th Annual Council Meeting of the National Council on Digital Economy. I thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here. I would like to start by commending the Federal Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, ably led by the Honorable Minister of Communications, Professor Isali Pantami, for ensuring that this meeting holds every year, and this is the 10th year running. I must say that I started coming to this meeting 2 years ago, and I can't overstate the importance that this meeting has had, especially in Oyo State government and how we do things. I'll give a brief example. Case in point, 2 years ago, as a newly minted essay, we went to Owerri. And I remember during the peer review, of course, we were still in the beginning stages of our roadmap, and we didn't do so well. And fortunately, the SSG is here today. Actually, she was the first person I went back to say, Ma, we can't take this, how can we, do better next year? And of course, what we did, with support from His Excellency, was speed up our process, the roadmap we already had, sped it up, dedicated more budget to ICT. And of course, last year when we came, we were able to receive, I think, all the awards, including Best State in ICT. I think I'll thank the Federal Ministry for that little push. Of course, we also had the very rare honor of being asked to host this year's meeting, which I think has been, for me, has been a highlight of my career. Of course, we started on Monday, and safe to say we've achieved a lot in the past 3 days. We've concluded the technical session. I was very pleased with the ingenuity of our participants and what they showed in preparing these memos. We had a lot of fruitful and intellectually stimulating discussions tied to our topic, digital innovation and entrepreneurship as a panacea for challenges to sustainable economic development in Nigeria. I think we had a very, very interesting peer review session yesterday. I, for one, I was very impressed with the level a lot of states have come to between the last year and this year, which yet again is a testament to the constant improvement that I think this council demands from us. We also visited some historic sites. We paid courtesy visit to the Olubadan. We went to the zoo. We went to Boas Towers. And I remember on the first day, I promised us unlimited supply of amala and gbegiri. And I hope we've lived up to that promise, even though there's still more to come today. Lastly, I would like to commend all the teams that were involved in putting this event together. Yet again, from the Federal Ministry, who has been on ground since over a week ago, to the Oyo State government, under my department, the Management Information Center, which put in a lot of work in making sure this was a success. And I can't be more pleased to see how this has turned out. And of course, it is important to note that digital transformations are capable of providing sustainable economic development. It is not a one-off activity, but a journey that we have started. And I believe until we achieve our objectives, we should all keep at it. And on that note, I welcome you to Oyo State once again. Thank you.
Yeah, quickly, would want to call Abdul Malik. If Abdul Malik is anywhere in this gathering, you have been requested. Abdul Malik Suleiman You have been requested to join the Honorable Minister at the high table. Please, a round of applause for him. Now, quickly, before we proceed to the next item on the program, which is goodwill messages from some of the heads of ministries and parastatals under this Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy, I have some dignitaries here present to quickly reintroduce on this side. We have the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Education, Higher Education, Science and Tech, Dr. Babagana Mustafa Malambe. Please, a round of applause for him. We also have Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Information, Nasarawa State, Yakub Mohammed Lawal. Please, a round of applause. We equally have Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Communication, Science and Technology, Bayelsa State, Dr. Ekol E. Promise. A round of applause for Dr. Promise. We equally have Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, Gombe State, Abishad and Deyal. Please, a round of applause for. Then we have representing the Honorable Commissioner for Science and Technology, Akwa Ibom State. We have Jack Morris, is the SA to the Commissioner. A round of applause. We equally have Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Science, Tech and Innovation, Sokoto State, Dr. Kalu Abubakar. Then concluding, we have the Oyo State Commissioner for Police, CP Adebowale Williams. Please, a round of applause for the CP is here with us. Then we also have the Oyo State Commandant of the NCCDE, Commandant Adaralewa Michael. Please, a round of applause for him. Then lastly, we have representing the Court Marshal FRSC, Deputy Commander Wasiu Adenekan. Please, a round of applause for him. Now, at this point, I would want to invite one of the senior officials in the State Ministry, in the Federal Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy to proceed on the next item.
Thank you very much, MC. Good afternoon, Honorable Minister. Good afternoon, Your Excellency, the representative of the Governor. With your kind permission, sir, I'll just stand on existing protocols to save time. It's now time for us to give goodwill messages. We're going to be receiving goodwill messages from some of the CEOs under the ministry. I'm Dr. Femi Adeluyi. I'm the Technical Assistant to the Minister on Research and Development. So I'd like to start by inviting the EVC of NCC, Professor Umar Garba Dambata, to give a goodwill message for 2 minutes. Please, let's put our hands together for him as he comes up.
The Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Aliu Ibrahim Pantami, Chairman of Parastatals, Board of Parastatals of under the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, my colleagues, chief executive officers of parastatals under the ministry, our august guests, members of the National Communications Council, under the able chairmanship of our Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, members of the press, staff from various agencies under the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me start by saying good afternoon to all of you, and I hope you had a very safe, pleasant journey to Ibadan, the venue of this year's conference. I know you have been here longer than a few of us who arrived on Tuesday. This event kick-started on Monday, I understand reliably. So I'm sure many of you must have arrived. Honorable commissioners from various states, in the Federation must have arrived a day earlier than the date of commencement of this very, very important conference. But many of us who are unable to come, on that same date you arrived would attest to the fact that there were exigencies, very important issues that prevented us really from coming. We had the National Frequency Management Council meeting on Monday, and immediately after that meeting, members of the council started coming. So there's no need for me to tender an apology for arriving to this very important event late. And since our arrival, we have been kept extremely busy attending one important function, from one important function to another. But today, it's not about apologies or excuses. It is about saluting all of you who spared the time to attend this very, very important event, a testimony to the great importance we attached, to this annual event. Because this is where issues relevant to the communications industry, as well as the ICT industry in general, are discussed. We normally review the recommendations that were reached at the last conference, which took place in Abuja, the north central zone of the country. And it is about deliberating on what has been achieved in the various recommendations, that were made during the last conference, communications conference, as well as looking critically at what remains to be done and charting a way forward on how those remaining issues that were discussed, can be addressed going forward. More importantly, we are gathering today in order to also take a look at the status of broadband infrastructure in the entire country. And the Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy has taken the giant step of empowering tertiary institutions in our various zones in order to set the pace of this very, very ambitious project of the federal government under the able leadership of our President Muhammad Buhari, GCFR, under the able leadership of our Honorable Minister, the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy. I think the very, very giant step we have taken in order to ensure deployment of broadband infrastructure, not only in our cities, but in our markets, airports, and other places where Nigerians will be able to benefit from cutting-edge services that will empower them as citizens of the country and empower businesses, communities, and societies. It's a testimony to the commitment of our Honorable Minister, as well as our principal, the Honorable Minister's principal, because the Honorable Minister is our principal, but he has his own boss and principal. And indirectly, we are also under the same principal, therefore, a level lower. We have never seen the kind of ambitious project recently overtaken by any government, I dare say. This government has indeed set the pace for the entire transformation of our communities and our society. And I think we're on the right track. This we can be able to achieve effectively with your cooperation. And so we count on your collaboration, and I would like on this note to convey a message of goodwill and fraternity from the board and management of the Nigerian Communications Commission, to all of us who found time to attend this important conference. And I would like to thank you very much for attending.
Thank you very much, EVC, sir. He has told us we have a principal has a principal, so we'll have Principal Square. We're inviting the next CEO to come and give goodwill message. I'd first like to recognize her because she was not recognized before. That's Dr. Abimbola Alale, of the Managing Director and CEO of Niche Comsat. And I invite her to take the floor. I will request that the CEOs, because of time, we'll just make it 1 minute, just very, very prompt. Please let's put our hands together for her. The faster we'll clap, the harder we'll clap, the faster she comes.
The Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, the Professor Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, the main host of this event, and our co-host from Oyo State, the Permanent Secretary, who's been holding forth since the 5th in organizing the meetings. Please permit me to join, to stand on the protocol very well established by the EVC. I'd just like to say that the work of this committee has been very great, has been very well appreciated by the Honorable Minister and the entire team of the ministry. The Minister has ensured that most of the recommendations that come forth from these meetings, this council meeting, are very well implemented across board as it pertains to every agency. And on this note, I'd like to thank the Honorable Minister so much because these, as the EVC said, these are the things that form the bedrock of some of the policies that the Honorable Minister has rolled out in the last 3 years that he assumed office. We have several policies, and most of those things actually were based on some of your recommendations. So the work of this council is actually very well appreciated. So on this note, because of time, let me appreciate my digital brothers that are that are sitting, and wish everybody the best of, the best of deliberation as the Honorable Minister chairs this council. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ma. Next, I will invite the Director General and CEO of the National Information Technology Development Agency, Malam Kashifu Inu Abdullahi CCIA. Please let's put our hands together for him.
My mentor and my boss, the Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Oyo State, Engineer Sheyi Makinde, heavily represented by Her Honor, the State Secretary, the Secretary General to the State, my dear colleagues, may peace, mercy, and blessing be upon you all, and good afternoon. The theme of this year's council is very exciting. Digital innovation and entrepreneurship, a panacea for challenges to sustainable economic development. I think there will never be a more perfect time to have this conversation than now. Because even this morning, the Honorable Minister shared with us when we paid courtesy call visit to the governor that ICT, or digital economy, is the fastest growing sector in Nigeria. And the representative of the governor also said that she knows ICT is the fastest growing, and if we do more, it will be the most impacting sector in the country. So this conversation is what will help us to achieve that. At the federal government level, the President, the Honorable Minister, and the ministry has set the pace of the digital economy. And the minister has called even the governor to establish a Ministry of Digital Economy in Oyo State. So we expect all the members to also take this message back home to your states, to establish some ministry so that you can benefit from digital innovation and entrepreneurship to create a more prosperous nation for all. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, DG. Next, I will invite the CEO and Managing Director of CEO and CEO of Galaxy Backbone Limited, Professor Abubakar Mohammed Bello. Please let's put our hands together for him.
The Honorable Minister, our dynamic Honorable Minister, Professor Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, His Excellency, the Governor of Oyo State, ably represented, permit me to stand on the existing protocol. May I start by congratulating the Honorable Minister for this particular event. That is the 10th edition of the National Council on the Communications and Digital Economy that is taking place today here, which I learned started since on Monday, and a lot of deliberations have taken place, and ultimately for the council now to adopt and then ultimately also make it possible for us to implement. The journey of the digital economy family has been a wonderful one. My brother from the NIDA has already talked about our achievements so far, where the digital economy sector or the ICT sector is the fast growing sector of the economy and the highest in terms of GDP, where we have recorded 18.44% as it is presently, and we are still counting. Yeah, I will. So the message I just want to pass to you today is actually what Galaxy Backbone Limited has been doing so far in trying to see that they have reached out to all the states that we have in Nigeria, that is the 36 states, in terms of providing the backbone, as the names connotes. That is the fiber optic backbone for everybody. And the NICTI project, that is the NICTI 2 project, has started, and we are presently at 98% completion. And by the time we're able to finish all these things, the fiber optics cables will be at the doorsteps of the local government as well as the state government of the federation. And as you also know, the National Digital Economy Policy and Strategy has a third pillar that is talking about infrastructural development, and that is exactly what Galaxy Backbone Limited is there to provide for you, as also witnessed today by providing the free Wi-Fi for this particular meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the free Wi-Fi, sir. Thank you. Please let's put our hands together as I invite the DJ and CEO of NIMSI, Engineer Aliyu Aziz Abubakar, to give his 1 minute. 1 minute. Okay, so 1 minute. Yeah, yes. 1 minute. Please.
Thank you. I stand by the existing protocols, and good afternoon to everyone. And I've been around since Monday, and I observe what has been happening, including the breakfast and also the lunch. I believe that you enjoyed the pounded yam. But I want to remind us that in the 21st century, that all we need is that a mobile phone a broadband to carry this mobile phone. You also need a digital wallet so that you can receive the alert. As you have all seen that there is cash withdrawal remits now, so we have to go cashless. And finally, you need a digital ID to be the foundation of the transformation of the digital economy. If we are only changing, then it is like a snake changing its skin. But if we really want to transform, then it's something like caterpillar changing to become a butterfly. So I wish you all a good conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, DJ of NMC. I hope all of us have our name. I would like to invite the Postmaster General, the Right Honorable Adepoju A. Sunday, to give the next good message for 1 minute. Please let's put our hands together for him.
Good afternoon. Our ever dynamic, inspiring, untiring, workaholic, creative thinker, Minister of Digital Communication and Digital Economy. The representative of the governor of Oyo State, permanent secretary, board members, and other chief executives, members of the public. The NIPOS is leveraging on ICT in many fronts. Like we all know, to our fledges, they thought NIPOS is only concerned about posting and receiving of letters. Today, the NIPOS is leveraging on ICT, where we are providing banking services where bank and banking are not available. NIPOS is equally thinking of fulfilling other obligations to the society, where the immigration is going to make use of information from the NIPOS in issuing of international passport. Then, driver license by road safety, and many others like that. We are making use of ICT to the best of our knowledge, and I want to use this medium again to advertise NIPOS to all of you from state, because I could see the 30 states of the Federation, that we are ready to carry your mails at a little cost, not only letters. You want to send items, either food items or whatever, to people abroad, we are ready to carry it for you. NIPOS of today is effective, efficient. You have people outside that want to send items to you that may be expensive to use, DHL, UPS, or others. NIPOS is there for you. We are ready to serve you to the best of our ability. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much, PMG. Last but not the least, I would like to invite the National Commissioner, CEO of the Nigeria Data Protection Bureau, Dr. Vincent Olatunji. Please let's put our hands together for him.
The chairman of the National Council of Communications and Digital Economy, and the Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, the leader of the Nigeria Digital Economy sector, Professor Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, the representative of the state government, the SSG, the permanent secretary of the ministry, board members, board chair, here present, CEOs, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. I would just like to congratulate all of us for making it to this year's council meeting, which is really important at this point in Nigeria, that we all know what the digital economy sector is contributing to our economy. We are aware that a lot of activities are going on at the national level to stimulate growth and sustainable development in the country. It is really important for states too to key into it. So I would advise us that we don't just see this as an academic exercise, it's important for us to take the final decisions of this council to our states, map out strategies for implementation. So by the time we are coming next year, we will have our success stories to tell. We are all aware that digital economy, the bedrock, issue of identity, as already mentioned by the DG of NIPSI. This identity must be secured, safe, and protected. And that is why the Nigeria Data Protection Bureau was created to implement the Nigeria Data Protection Regulation. Our bill is on the way to National Assembly. We want to implore states too to ensure that the data, the identity of their citizens are adequately protected through compliance to the provision of the Nigeria Data Protection Regulation and the bill when it becomes an act of parliament. Thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for the goodwill message. We're now going to listen. They say it's good to hear from the horse's mouth. We're going to hear about the transformation that is taking place in the sector, and there's no other person that is more qualified, ably qualified to do that than the chairman of council, who is also the Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, my boss, Professor Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami. He's going to take the keynote address. Please let's put our hands together for him as he comes forward to give the address. Please keep clapping. Yes, sir, it's your time, sir.
The governor of Oyo State, represented by my sister, the secretary to the state government, Mrs. Adeyoshun, my colleague, the permanent secretary of the Federal Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, the chairman of the National Identity Management Commission and the National Information Technology Development Agency, the chief executive officers of the Nigerian Communications Commission, National Information Technology Development Agency, National Identity Management Commission, Nigeria Data Protection Bureau, Nigeria Postal Services, Nigerian Communication Satellite, Galaxy Backbone Limited, and any other CEO from any institution or private sector here with us. Also, the commissioners in charge of ICT from states, permanent secretaries at the federal and also at the state level here with us, other CEOs from state here with us, our colleagues from the private sector industry players, representatives from academia, representatives of military and paramilitary here with us, board members of various boards at federal and state level here with us, ladies and gentlemen of the press, all other protocols duly and respectfully observed. Good afternoon to all of you, and may peace, mercy, and blessings be upon you all. It gives me a great pleasure to be here with you in Ibadan, Oyo State, for the 10th National Council on Communications and Digital Economy, where our stakeholders and also my representatives, including the permanent secretary of the ministry, who has been here since Monday, representing me, also coordinating the activities and the proceedings. The theme of this year's council is very relevant and very apt. That is digital innovation and digital entrepreneurship, a panacea for the challenges of sustainable development in Nigeria. And I have been informed that the discussion has been very robust. The quality of memo being presented, the comments that follow, the presentations, the contributions, the recommendations, the criticism, all of them have been excellent. And based on some comments I have received, this could be among the top 2 national council we have ever organized in Nigeria with regards to the quality of the discussion. I'm really excited to hear that. In addition, I want to use the opportunity to commend the Oyo State government for the hospitality they have presented to my team since on Monday and also yesterday when I arrived here. We are most appreciative of the hospitality. I was at the State Government House to see the governor, and we were received by the Secretary to the State Government on his behalf that he is away because of some necessities, and that has also been understood. From there, we moved to Olubadun of Ibadan, where we paid our homage on behalf of our principal President Muhammadu Buhari, and we finally returned here for the closing session. However, there is going to be dinner at night, and tomorrow a communique is going to also be presented, which is going to determine the conclusion of all the events. But today is going to be the last day for the technical sessions, and also at night, the dinner, and finally tomorrow morning, there could be a presentation of the communique, which I do hope that the communique will reach to each and every state of the Federation so that we will be able to implement effectively. And when the communique is being read, I believe media will be available to convey the final recommendations and what has been approved by the Council for implementation. Most probably, part of the recommendations, we will discover that some of them are to be implemented by the federal government. The permanent secretary will ensure that this aspect is being covered by us. Some of the recommendations could require the implementation of states. And I do hope the commissioners in charge of ICT, permanent secretaries, and other representatives of various states will ensure that what is for them is implemented. Because ICT or digital economy cannot only be implemented at the federal level. Even at the state level, states have a role to play. And they must ensure that we join our hands together to ensure the total implementation of policies, strategies, laws, and many more. As I earlier mentioned, that the theme is very dear to me is because of the fact that the entire digital economy sector has 2 major prerequisites. Prerequisite number 1 is digital innovation, and prerequisite number 2 is digital entrepreneurship. These are the 2 prerequisites to building an indigenous digital economy. When one of them is missing or is not implemented, by implication, achieving a robust indigenous digital economy is not possible. So each country that wants to be successful in digital economy, it must prioritize the promotion of indigenous digital innovation on one hand and indigenous digital entrepreneurship on the other. So these 2 sub-themes are what digital economy is all about when it comes to the requirements and the obligations of building a robust digital economy. Furthermore, why sustainable development is becoming more difficult by the day in Nigeria? and why sustainable development is becoming more difficult in Africa, and why sustainable development is becoming more difficult globally. One of the major reasons that we need to ponder upon is the way and manner the world population is increasing. The African population is increasing, and the Nigerian population is increasing. If we go through the lens of history, when was the time that the world population reached 1 billion people? From the inception of human beings on this cosmos, based on available literatures and documented evidences, there wasn't any time that the world population reached 1 billion till 1805. By implication, only 217 years ago, the world population hit 1 billion. Only 217 years ago. Prior to that time, 1805, there wasn't any time that the world population reached 1 billion, based on available literatures and documented evidences. It was only 217 years the world population hit 1 billion. Today, we have 8 billion by 15th of November 2022. Within 217 years, we move from hitting 1 billion to 8 billion. And before 805, look at the thousands of years that this world spent. But we only hit 1 billion by 1805. And after hitting 1 billion by 1805, it took the world another around 213 years to reach 2 billion. 213 till around 1928 that the world population reached 2 billion. And it was only by 1960, which is only 32 years again, the world population reached 3 billion. So just 1960, only 62 years ago, the world population was only 3 billion. So from 1960 to date, the world population catapulted to 8 billion. So look at the difficulty why sustainable development is becoming more difficult, particularly by the developing countries, and particularly African countries. The world population is increasing, and if that world population is productive and effective, attaining sustainable development is not difficult. But if the population is increasing with unproductive population, then attaining sustainable development will continue to become practically impossible. In Nigeria in 1960, the entire population of this world, when our country got its independence, was only 45,100,000 people. Only 45 million in 1960. Today, our population in Nigeria is not in any way less than 218 million, if not more than 220 million. But we reached 45 million only in 1960, only 62 years ago. But today, 218 to 220 million and still counting. All the developed countries that are making success at managing their population effectively, you will discover among the key priorities they implement is the fact and is the issue of promoting digital innovation and digital entrepreneurship. In 2021, Nigeria was the 7th most populous country in the world. Early this year, or middle of this year, we overtook Brazil. Brazil was number 6. China number 1, India number 2, US number 3, Indonesia number 4, Pakistan number 5. It was Brazil 6, Nigeria 7. This year, Nigeria became 6, and Brazil dropped to 7. And we are not far from Pakistan. In the next few years, most probably 3 to 5 years, Nigeria will become the 5th most populous country. And we are not far from Indonesia, then, and America. It has been predicted that by around 2040, Nigeria could become the 3rd most populous country in the world. By 2050 to 2070, Nigeria could become the 2nd most populous country in the world, even ahead of China, because India is about to take over that leadership from China in the next, most probably 5 years. So the issue of sustainable development cannot be managed effectively without prioritizing digital innovation and digital entrepreneurship. The economy of the world is no more about natural resources. It's all about talent and linking this talent with opportunities. Uber initially was a one-man idea. Amazon was a one-man idea. Apple was two-man idea. Huawei was a one-man idea. But look at the way and manner they have been changing the world and providing opportunities for others to work in various companies or sectors. Relying on natural resources is no more an exit. If you discover any natural resources, you are to leverage on that, to harness it and develop the knowledge-based resources and knowledge-based economy. It is because of this, in Nigeria, we are blessed with talent. This talent is mostly misguided. Only few leverage on their talent positively and contribute to economic development, either at private or at public level. Digital innovation is key. It's all about deployment of digital technologies to address an existing problem through creativity. You identify a challenge, a complex problem, you come up with an idea on how to resolve it by deploying digital technologies through a very creative way. And this is what is changing the world today. This is what brought about first industrial revolution in the 18th and 19th century. In the 18th century, this is what brought about second industrial revolution in the 18th century, and this is what brought about the third industrial revolution in the 20th century, and this is what brought about the fourth industrial revolution in the 21st century. This is what brought about artificial intelligence, robotics, 5G, quantum computing, cloud computing, nanotechnology, biotechnology, augmented reality, virtual reality, autonomous vehicle, and many more. It's through using the talent, through digital innovation. And with this, they leverage on it and provide many digital entrepreneurs. In the digital economy sector, there are many opportunities that we must work hard, day in, day out, to ensure that we provide the foundation for sustainable development in Nigeria, and we also serve as the leading nation in Africa for others to emulate. According to the World Economic Forum, by 2025, digital economy will be able to come up with so many digital innovative ideas and produce many entrepreneurs to the extent that they will be able to contribute 100 trillion USD. The entire world GDP today, gross domestic product, is not more than, it's just 100 trillion GDP as it is today. And if you look at the countries that are blessed with innovative ideas, they are the ones leading the world today. The US and China. They manage their population effectively, and they achieve not only sustainable development, but very effective and robust sustainable development. The GDP of America today is around 24.3 trillion USD. That of China is 14.14 trillion USD, and in some literatures, 14.9 trillion USD. Both of them, the population of both countries combined is less than 2 billion. But yet, they manage around 45% of the global GDP. While population-wise, they are less than 2 billion. Where is the remaining 6 billion? The entire Africa as a continent, with a population of 1.3 billion people, we are not even yet 5 trillion USD. Why? Because we fail to leverage on digital innovation and digital entrepreneurs. We are more interested in becoming consumers and followers rather than becoming part of the chess group that are trying to be in the forefront. The talent is available in Nigeria. The opportunities are here. It is our collective responsibility to ensure that there is a match between the talent and the opportunities so that we will not be followers, but rather to be among the leading nations when it comes to digital innovation and digital entrepreneurship. And I think this is also very important. Furthermore, in order to show our modest achievements, which has been yielding a very positive result in Nigeria under the leadership of the Federal Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, in which I want to admit that the support and the commitments of the parastatals we supervise, and also the role being played by the private sector, are key to attaining where we are today. We have developed many national policies. The total number of policies we have developed in the last 3 years are unprecedented in Nigeria by any other sector, not only ICT or digital economy sector. And these policies are not only kept aside, but they are all being implemented. And I will mention some of them. Number one, we have developed National Digital Economy Policy and Strategy for a Digital Nigeria 2020-2030. Number two, we developed the roadmap for the implementation of in-depth 2020-2030. Number three, national policy, Nigerian National Broadband Policy 2020-2025. Number four, national policy for the promotion of indigenous content in the telecommunications sector. Number five, national policy on NIN and SIM registration. Number six, the revised national policy on NIN and SIM registration. Number seven, national policy on device management system. Number eight, DIC-1 national policy. Number nine, national policy on fifth generation networks for Nigeria's digital economy. Number 10, national policy for virtual engagements in the federal public institution. Number 12, national policy on domain name registration. Number 13, we have also developed national policy for citizens in IDPs. Number 14, we have also developed National Digital Innovation and Entrepreneurship Policy, which has been replaced by the Nigeria Startup Act 2022. We have also developed the rule-making process for the Nigeria Postal Services. We have also developed national policy on the visa installation core skills for Nigerians. We have also commenced the process of integrating our subsidiary legislation of Nigeria Data Protection Bureau to a full legislation. We have also coordinated the Nigeria Startup Act 2022, which has been assented by His Excellency Mr. President on the 19th October 2022, and I coordinated on behalf of the federal government the presentation and the conceptualization and even the crafting of the bill, which was presented before FEC on 15 December 2021, which provides the platform for building our digital innovation on one hand and the digital entrepreneurship on the other. All these policies are available, and they have provided many opportunities to leverage on and build our digital innovation on one hand and digital entrepreneurship on the other. In addition to establishing many centers, from August 2019 to date, we have started and completed the establishment of over 2,200 ICT centers and programs in Nigeria, including here in University of Ibadan. We have an ongoing project of constructing National Digital Park, which will cost around 1.2 billion naira, being coordinated by the Nigeria Communications Commission, in addition to the provision of unlimited broadband to the students and staff of Federal College of Education Special Oyo here in Oyo State. These are only few examples, and these projects are in each and every state of the Federation. If not the same, we have similar projects and programs in all the 36 states of Nigeria, including FCT. The Nigeria Startup Act 2022 is one of the major achievements of this country since independence. Why? Because it provides the cornerstone of changing our economy effectively from resource-based economy to knowledge-based economy. And this is what we are agitating, and this is what the whole world is advocating for. On behalf of all stakeholders, I could recall that on 17 and 18, the performance report of each ministry and each sector was presented before His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari during our ministerial performance retreat. The assessment was conducted by independent bodies. Number one is Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office in the United Kingdom. Number two, KPMG. They collaborated with the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. They investigated and evaluated the performance of each and every sector. And the report was presented before His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari. With all sense of humility, the performance of our sector was the best in Nigeria. We were given 8 major priority areas, 8 deliverables. And in all the 8, what we got, you can say, is A+, because the assessment was conducted after establishing the baseline that was given to us when we assumed duty on the 21st August 2019. From that baseline, then the performance will be determined where you are. In each and every priority, 70 is A. And the target given is to deliver by 70. I am glad to say that in all the priorities, we exceeded 70. Number one priority is broadband penetration in Nigeria. When we took over in August 2019, the entire broadband penetration was around 33%. And there wasn't enough satellite coverage. Now we have attracted SpaceX of Elon Musk, willing to come and provide satellite broadband to the entire population of this country, to the entire landmass. Based on the target given to us under that one, we obtained 134%. 134%. Priority number 2 given to us is 4G penetration. Under 4G penetration, based on that independent assessment, we obtained 127%. Priority number 3 is setting up of policies of government digitalization, government digital services. Under that priority, we obtained 99%. Priority number 4 is digital identity. When I took over in October 2022, the supervision of National Identity Management Commission, the database was around 39 million. And that was achieved in 13 years from 2007 to 2020. From October 2020 to 2022, we increased the database from 39 million to over 91 million today. We inherited 39 million in 13 years. We increased more than 52 million in 2 years. And even that one is the one we got the lowest, 86%. Number 5, which is more important to the federal government, is to increase revenue generation through operators, licenses, and many others. Based on that independent assessment, we increased revenue generation by 594% in Nigeria. 594%. And of course, revenue generation is more difficult than revenue spending. If we can attain 594% revenue generation, if you assign a ministry of spending to me, I can attain 2,000% in spending, because spending is more easier than generating. What is your conflict with madam at home? You generate, she spends. So you are always arguing because you know the difficulty. People spending usually do not know the difficulty of generating. So if you ask me to supervise a ministry of spending where others will generate and give me to spend, the minimum target I will give to myself is 2,000%. In this regard, when it comes to implementation, even the institutions that spend the revenue we generate did not attain 594% implementation. But in our own case, it's revenue generation. In most cases, we remitted 100% to government. Like the recent auctioning of 5G we did, the remittance to government is 100%. We couldn't retain 1 naira for the sector. And we spend the money of the sector to organize the auctioning among many others. But the remittance to government is 100% of what came from there. So with 594% in revenue generation, then revenue spending, I will give a minimum target, as I earlier said, what? 2,000% should be the minimum target. If it is spending, not what? Not generating. If it is spending, that is the minimum target I will give to myself if it is spending. Because spending, as I earlier said, is much, much easier. For you to spend is much, much easier than to do what? Than to generate. The difficulty is in what? Is in generating, not in spending. And this is the target we have set. We were given 70% as the target for A, but we exceeded in all of them. We did not leave anyone to be even within the 70 range. The minimum is 86%. And even that one, the major obstacle is the obsolete nature of the infrastructure. And there wasn't any budgetary provision given to us for the implementation of the national identity system. We took over with an obsolete infrastructure. Some were deployed in 2007. That is 15 years ago. And we leverage on that to increase the enrollment. And what we have achieved in 2 years is by far more than what was achieved in 15 years before, or let me say 17 years before. When it comes to also collaboration with the private sector to create jobs for our citizens, Under that one, we got around 111%. 111%. And empowerment for citizens, we got 127%. So in each and every one, you will discover that we exceeded A. And this is what we have achieved with your support, collaboration, and partnership in the last 3 years or more. And I believe you deserve to applaud yourself. And finally, because of time constraint, I want to say that I appreciate the support of each and every one of you, because this will not be a one-man effort. I only happen to be the leader of the sector in Nigeria on behalf of my principal, President Muhammadu Buhari, based on the provision of a delegation, or rather assigning responsibilities to ministers as in section 147 and 148. I am here on his behalf, and I'm exercising his power to lead the digital economy sector, and I always count on your support to ensure that we consolidate what we have achieved so far, so that we will be able to ensure the diversification of our economy and also to attain sustainable development. And if other sectors could be able to do 50% of what we have been doing, I believe attaining the sustainable development is not difficult. And our major challenge in Nigeria today is the fact that our population growth is higher than our economic growth. So that is why we must leverage on other sectors to complement what we have been doing. We have achieved 18.44% of contribution to GDP from only ICT sector alone, without accommodating the digital services. If digital services are to be computed, I have no doubt it could reach up to 35%, because digital economy is equated to ICT sector plus all digital services. Today, digital services could be higher than the ICT sector. The computation is only for the ICT sector without accommodating the digital services. If that is accommodated, our contribution in the digital economy sector will not be below 35%, I have no doubt. And that is why during the courtesy visit of the National Bureau of Statistics, I challenged my brother and friend who happens to be the new DG to ensure that they start to capture the digital services and present the contribution of digital economy, not only ICT sector, because by capturing ICT sector, you are unfair to the entire digital economy family. And I do hope they will improve and capture the entire digital economy sector. With this, I'm very proud of you, and I'm glad with what you have done here. I chaired the session, the first one in Gombe in 2019. In 2020, we were in Imo State. My permanent secretary represented me. In 2021, we were in Abuja. And in 2022, this is here. Based on the provision of the Constitution, the tenure of my boss and my principal will come to an end by May 2023. So by implication, this is our scorecard that has been presented, and I believe we will all appreciate. Thank you very much. May the Almighty bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
More applause. More applause. You see why he is called the digital minister. It is not a mistake. He is the one setting the pace for the total digitization of the Nigerian economy. He sets the pace, he goes for it, and he hits the target. He is no other than the Honorable Minister for Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami. Please, more round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll hand over the mic to my colleague,
Okay,
David.
quickly, let me just make this few observations before we proceed with the rest of the program. Now, if you would agree with me, the minister did not just present that speech quite eloquently, but he did it very proficiently and well, intelligently done. Please, another beautiful round of applause for the minister. Now, the interesting part of it all was that that long technical speech was all presented extempore. For that long hour, reading out data, reading out statistics, he presented all of them extempore. No notes, no keynote address here. Please, another round of applause for the minister, Professor Issa Pantami. Yes, quickly, before we proceed, to call on another very brilliant mind to round off this whole session for us, let me just have these quick introductions. They came in late. I would want to introduce and quickly recognize the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, Honorable Idris Galba Umarimi from Kano State. Please, a round of applause. We equally have here in this event the Controller of Immigration Service, Oyo State Command, Alhaji Isa Dan Suleiman, ably represented by Deputy Controller D.A. Omoniwa. Please, a round of applause. We equally have a representative from Benue State as the Honorable Commissioner for Energy, Science and Technology, ably represented by the PS, Mr. Ampitu Ayaka. Please, a round of applause. Now, as we begin to round off this glorious session, it is with humility and respect, I would want to call on the Executive Governor of Oyo State to come and also present a keynote address to gradually pull the curtain for this session. So, with humility and respect, I call on the SSG, Secretary to the State Government, Mrs. Olubamewu Adeosun. A round of applause for her as she take on the platform.
The Honorable Minister, the Federal Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy, the Permanent Secretary, the Honorable Commissioners here present, the State ICT heads, heads of ICT parastatals, institutions in the states, chairpersons and presidents of ICT associations, CEOs and management of ICT companies, heads of ICT departments in tertiary institutions, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good day. This is one of the occasions where I'm glad that I'm actually just representing, so there's no pressure to want to fill the very big shoes that the Honorable Minister just put here with the amount of data and the amount of numbers he was reeling out. But since I'm here representing His Excellency, Governor Oluseyi Makinde, I'm sure I'm allowed to read his address. So I'm going to be reading it. Thank you. So on behalf of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Oyo State, I welcome you all to Oyo State. I must commend the Honorable Minister of Communication and Digital Economy and the entire ministry for organizing this program and its consistency over the years. This is the 10th one, I gather. When I received the news that Oyo State has been granted the opportunity to host the 10th General Meeting of the National Council on Communication and Digital Economy meeting, I was elated for so many reasons. I knew the caliber of persons attending the event would have many intellectuals, critical thinkers, and key players in the ICT sector of Nigeria. I also knew the meeting objectives are significant and that the meeting outcomes would have a huge impact on our economy. Of course, it is our pleasure to be the host for the year, and I am certain that your stay during this program has and will continue to be nothing but insightful and impactful. Today, we are no longer in the era where we encourage people to move from traditional processes to digitalized ones. We know people are fully understood that there has become a necessity, that this has become a necessity. And so for this reason, we're more focused on digital transformations and the use of digital technology for a digitalized economy. The theme of the meeting, which is digital innovation and entrepreneurship as a panacea for challenges of sustainable economic development in Nigeria, is apt and timely. It addresses a lot of these digital transformations and how they are able to help solve and drive sustainable economic development. The current development stage of our community is characterized by the accelerated development and introduction of digital technologies. The widespread penetration of the internet, mobile devices, and the active transition of buyers from the offline to the online environment is modifying existing business models, contributing to the acceleration of economic growth and the improvement of methods of managing financial flows. Digital transformations is not only about big data and creation of digital platforms, but also how those advanced technologies can be utilized to maximize opportunities for innovation, new business models and processes, as well as smart products and services. The opportunities the digital transformation brings forth are limitless. Increased entrepreneurship and promotion of economic growth are just some areas to mention. In Oyo State, one key thing embracing digital technology did was to revolutionize the internally generated revenue system, an improvement by a great percentage. When we digitalized some of our services, such as payment of taxes, it created room for effective tax administration. We are now able to capture potential taxpayers, and revenue generation became more robust with increasing returns. Other business processes digitalized include payment of salaries and pensions. We made sure that these payments are tied to retirement years of each civil servant, and as such, timely payments are made only to the right persons. Digitalization also brought about efficient service delivery in our state. We're able to foster positive government-to-citizen interactions, and citizens can easily enjoy government services and provide feedback. Services such as the Land CFO registration, the Oyo State Job Portal, telemedicine application, and the Resident Registration Program, which will provide a database of Oyo's residents for effective decision-making, are some ways we have been able to make this happen. Having an inclusive, transparent, traceable, and effective, clap properly if you want to clap. Thank you. Having an inclusive, transparent, traceable, and efficient government practice will undoubtedly result in gaining citizens' trust and engagement. Digitalization triggers a change in basic assumptions in the relationship between the state and citizens. Oyo State has embraced this aspect by practicing open governance, where records of all contracts awarded by the state, procurement processes, and more are made available on the web portal. On this note, I would like to state that digital transformation is a journey, and I'm very pleased that everyone here is on board. I want to implore all of us to keep doing our bits and our best as innovators that we are. I look forward to seeing the memos that have been brought to Council today, and I know they will have great impact on our goals for a digital economy in Nigeria. Thank you all very much. And you're welcome to Oyo State.
Clap more for our hosts. They are doing well in the sector, their input, and all their achievements. Please, more round of applause. I would like to
I am back once again. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to all of you once again. I have just received the report of the proceedings that during this National Council on Communications and Digital Economy taking place in Ibadan, Oyo State, 110 recommendations and memos have been presented. Out of this number, 67 have been endorsed for approval by the Council, while 43 stepped down. On behalf of my principal, His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, based on the provision of the Constitution of Nigeria, Section 147, 148, I therefore approve the 167 memos that have been presented, while the remaining 43 will be reconsidered in the future time. Thank you very much all. And finally, if there is any state that is willing to serve as the hosting state for the 2023 version, we will appreciate to have their request immediately, and that will be announced officially. In Abuja for 2021, 4 states indicated their interest. At the end of it, we narrowed down on Oyo State, and I do hope that we will find other states that are willing to host. And this priority should be given to the northern states. In 2019, we were in Northeast, 2020 Southeast, 2021 North Central, and 2022 Southwest. The remaining 2 zones that are yet to host within these last 3 years should be Northwest and Southeast. And South-South and South-South. Because of this, if there is any commitment from both zones, the priority should firstly be given to the Northwest. If there is no any priority or interest, then we move to the South-South. And I do hope we will receive your request and your willingness to host in the next 20 days, not more than that. Thank you very much.
We will come to Gombe.
He said, are you willing to come to Gombe? No, he was saying this, but I said, let me announce to you. This council was in Gombe in 2019. So Northwest, the priority is for the Northwest. We have Kano, Katsina, Kaduna, Jigawa, Zamfara, Sokoto, and Kebbi. And we also have South-South. We have rivers, we have Cross River, we have Bayelsa, Delta, and Edo State. And Akwa Ibom State. So we have this. So the priority is for this, starting with Northwest.
We have gotten one request.
From where?
From Northwest.
No, let it be formalized. Let the request come as soon as possible so that we can facilitate the process. Permanent Secretary, you have only 60 seconds for your vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir. You see, the Honorable Minister has made my job very, very easy for me. Said only 1 minute. And out of this 1 minute, 20 seconds has gone. And simply, just to say thank you all. Thank you, the Oyo State government, for hosting us. Thank you, the Honorable Minister, the Digital Minister and Professor, for doing everything humanly possible to be here live. And we have gained a lot from your wisdom and even from your being an orator. We are learning and we have gotten much from you, especially the transformation going on in the digital sector, for which today we are proud to answer that we are alternative to Nigerians oil. Clap for the Honorable Minister. I want also to thank all the states who made it possible to be here. We know the challenges you people are facing, but despite that, you are here. We also thank the chief executives of our various agencies. You're always there for us. And we are happy on the crop of people we have, our chief executives and chairmen of our boards. And for the security agencies that are here, and all other girls and invited people, even the NGOs and the private sectors, we cannot thank you enough for being with us this year. And we hope and believe that by this time next year, you will still be with us. And by next year, we are going to improve from whatever that has taken place here. Once more, just to say thank you, and may God bless all of us.
The representative of His Excellency, the executive, the Honorable
Okay,
Minister
yeah,
will
we're
go for
proceeding now with
inspection
the
of
Honorable Minister
exhibition booths.
to
Inspection
inspection of the exhibition booths. So council members, along with the minister, and also some of the heads of parastatal, in company of Governor Sheyi Makinde, ably represented by the SSG, will proceed to inspect the exhibition booths. Thank you.
Distinguished participants, please, I've been directed to inform you that this meeting has not ended. The minister will take his leave after inspecting the exhibition stands, and then we'll reconvene for the council meeting. Please do not leave the hall. Thank you very much. You have my number already. Ladies and gentlemen, lunch is ready. Please go upstairs and have your lunch, and we'll be back for the next session. Thank you.